Hi Flosstube, how are you? I'm excited to be back. I'm Jennifer and this is my channel Stitching with the Waves. It's been quite a while since I made a video, or at least it feels that way to me because I've been wanting to do this for so many weeks now. I keep trying to find a day I can do it and you know, life happens and I don't get a video made that day. So we're kind of in a race against the sun this morning. The sun starts off like down on the floor and it slowly like moves up during I think it was during my last video. It was kind of causing like some glare problems. So I'm gonna try and squeeze this video in really fast before the sun comes and starts to interfere. I have 4 FFOs to show you guys today, which I'm super excited about. It's not that I suddenly have a lot of time to FFO or I suddenly figured out how to do it faster or anything like that. It's more that I have so much going on right now. February is just swamped with activities and stuff going on, and I have a really long list of things, and when I decide I don't want to do one of them, I was like, oh, but I really should FFO that project. It's been sitting there for a while. I really want to get that finished, and so I'll go and work on FFOing rather than doing the things on my list that I'm supposed to be doing. So let's jump to comments really quickly. I had several comments on a couple of my last videos with people asking for the colors that I used on a project, because I tend to change the colors from a project a lot. So if you're interested in knowing the exact colors I used, I replied to your comment. Like if you on the video, I gave you the color schemes that I used. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, because when I finish a project, I post it there and I put the pattern, the fabric, and I list all the flosses that I used. So I'm also Stitching with the Waves on Instagram. I believe it's just all one word there. You don't have to do any underscores or anything like that, just Stitching with the Waves. So you can go over there, and if you follow me there, you can see my projects as I finish them. I post all the detail there. So that could be a good place to find, like a good resource to go to find that stuff. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And thank you for all the sweet comments everybody leaves. I really appreciate them and enjoy reading through them. I don't always have time to respond to every single one of them, but please know that I do read them. I do try to hit the like button on every one of them so you know that I saw it. I just appreciate you guys watching, so thanks. Let me show you my FFOs. All right, I am going to start with the one I made for my daughter, Eiffel Quaker. This is from Jardin Privé, and I switched up the color scheme to all different shades of blue, and then we also personalized it to her. She picked out some different motifs that she told me she wanted on it, and I changed some of those. So we've got, you know, a lacrosse stick and a cat and things like that that she really likes. And then instead of putting, I think it had the date here of like when the Eiffel Tower was built, so I changed it out to the current year that I stitched it. So love, love, love how this one turned out. This was just a little square frame. I'm looking at the sticker on the back here. Yeah, I found this at Walmart. I think it probably, I don't remember what was underneath it. It probably had some sort of spring or Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day design on it, but it was enough in the center that I could just put a piece of sticky board covered fabric, you know, stuck down right to the board, and that covered up the design that was on there. I didn't have to paint it or anything, and then this is just the wood frame that as it came. And then I have started lacing my stitching. I use a piece of sticky board and I lay it down, sticky side down, on batting, one layer of batting, cut around the batting so that it fits exactly onto the piece of sticky board. And then I've started lacing. So Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher, has in all of her recent tutorials where she's mounting something to mat board, she shows you how she does the lacing. So I watched one of them a few times. I watched it while I was doing the lacing, and as I've started lacing, I've gotten a lot better at it. The thing that I love about it is it allows you to adjust and kind of scooch your fabric around as you're lacing to really get it perfectly centered. And I was just having so much trouble either using sticky board or trying to glue onto just a flat mat board. And I can't recommend the lacing highly enough. I love it. It just really allows you to make all those little adjustments as you go, and it's not hard to do. It sounded a lot harder and looked a lot harder than I thought it would be. The first one took me quite a while because I had to keep, like, watch a few minutes of the video, and I'd pause her video, I'd do that part, and I'd be like, okay, how do I do the corner, or how do I turn, what do I do here now? So once I figured that out, it really went quickly, and I just love the technique of how it allows you to really adjust things as you go and get it perfectly straight on there. So that's super exciting. Then I just added this little, let me see if I can show you in there. Oh, get my face so it doesn't focus on me. Yeah, see that it was a little aqua trim that I had found at Hobby Lobby. And I just added that, and I just butted it up against each other right here in the center, and it just goes all the way around. So there we go, Eiffel Quaker all done. My next FFO is Winter from Little House Needleworks. Let me put it back here first, you can see the whole thing. So this is Winter here. I just mounted that with a piece of fabric, sticky board, same thing, I used the lacing to make sure I got it really centered. And then I just mounted it on a piece of sticky board that is covered in fabric. And then the bow, piece of burlap ribbon, piece of this blue ribbon, and then at Michael's I found these little, let me get my face out so it focuses for you, sorry, oh, it's still trying to find me, okay. I found a bag of paper flowers in the scrapbooking section. They were all different shades of blue, so figured perfect, you're gonna be seeing them a lot in the center of my bows. So that came out really great. Same thing with the lacing here. I need to change out this magnet. So it's just on a magnet, and I used just a regular black magnet from Home Depot, which is not quite strong enough. It's fine when it's just sitting up on my mantle. It doesn't move, but if I'm trying to show it or do any move it at all, you know, dusting and try to move it, it tips to the side. So I need to put one of the rare earth magnets that is, oh, I can't get it off of there. It's so strong, you guys. This is one of the rare earth magnets that are much, much stronger. And I just have a washer on the back of the bow, and it really sticks on there. You know, you have to slide it off, but that really helps with the bow sticking. So I just need to switch out the magnets. When I first made it, I didn't have any extra rare earth ones, and I decided to see if this other one would work, and it's not strong enough. So, okay, that is Winter from Little House Needleworks. Then I finished February from Fleur de Lin. This was Snow in February, that's what it was. The exact title of it. So there is the stitching. I had switched up the colors to make it a little bit more like pink and red Valentine's-y. And then I just mounted it on a piece of navy blue fabric, sticky board covered fabric. I did the same thing with the lacing on this one. And then I found this frame a while ago. I'm pretty sure it was in the clearance section at Michael's. So it's just a frame on a pedestal. See the pedestal bottom there? So it just sits on there. So my question on this one, same thing with the ribbon. I just put a piece of ribbon and then one of those paper heart flowers in the center. Does the bow need to be bigger though? I can't decide. I glued it on the fabric there. This whole piece of fabric just pops out, and I'll be able to put each month in here. But I'm wondering if the ribbon should be bigger. I don't know, I feel like the bow is too small. So maybe on the next one I do, I'll try and make the bow bigger, and if I like it, I'll switch this one out. Not sure though. Okay, last one. This is a big one. Get it over here. Heavy too, almost dropped it. Okay, here we go. I might have to stand up for this. Yep, I'm gonna have to stand up for this one. Excuse me one moment. I don't know if I can even get it all in. Okay, no, I can't get far enough away to get the whole thing in. So this is a clock / shutter. So there's like a shutter on the bottom and then a clock part on the top. And I found this on clearance last spring at, it's Studio Decor. Is that Michael's or Hobby Lobby? I don't remember, but it was at one of those, you know, big box craft stores. So I needed a clock in my dining room / craft room. So I got this, and I figured this would be the perfect spot to put the spring and really the whole seasonal series from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. So I finished spring. I did a color change. She originally had charted it in green and lavender. So I changed up the colors, and then here's the bow. I don't know if I can get the bow in right here. Yeah, the table's a little bit in the way. So for the stitching, I just did the lacing, mounted it on the board, put some blue rickrack and another fabric behind it. And then the bow, I have 3 layers. I have this blue ribbon, a burlap ribbon, the checked ribbon, and then right here in the very center is one of the paper flowers, those blue paper flowers. And then this is just a plaid fabric. I found a tutorial online how to make fabric flowers by cutting them into, you cut like 8 or 10 circles out of the fabric and then fold it into quarters, and then you just string it all up on a piece of string to like kind of bunch them together, and it makes a cute little fabric flower. So I thought that went really well. The plaid and the floral together, I really liked that, the colors all together. So let me see if I can get my hand on it. So that's how it looks. And then I'll show you really quickly how I attached it, if I can. Let me, it's so hard to hold this thing in, make sure you can see on the screen. So here, I just glued a magnet to one of the slats of the shutter and put a washer on the back of the bow. That worked okay because it's just a small piece, but down here for the stitching, there was nowhere flat. I couldn't get a magnet to work. I didn't think that would work out well. So after a lot of thinking, what I ended up doing was just gluing a piece of cardboard. So I glued part of it, I folded it over to make like kind of a little V shape there, glued part of it to the back of the sticky board, and then the other part is just folded over. So the folded over part just slides right into one of the slats on the shutter, and it just hangs there. Does that make sense? That was the best way I could figure it out. I know I'd watched or read on Priscilla from the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. Her blog is Priscilla's 2000, and on there she puts a lot of things on shutters, and so I was planning to just use her method, which is to glue a piece of ribbon to the back of the stitching, and then you thread it through the slats and just tie it in the back. But the back is closed. So this FFO took me a while because I had the board all done, and then I realized that I couldn't just do that ribbon tying thing. And it took me a while to come up with how am I gonna make that work. So just slide that right in and it works perfectly. All right, I'm gonna put this down because it's really heavy. It's pretty solid. Okay, so that is all of my FFOs. Let's move on to stitching. I do believe, let me just double check on my notes, that every whip I currently have, oh wait, I have a finish first. I almost forgot, where'd it go? Oh, here it is, right in front of my nose. Okay, first I finished. This is Hyacinths in the Month of March from Fleurs de Lin. And I did this on 40 count R&R weathered shingle. It's 1/2, and I did my own color conversion. I'm stitching this one for the Year of Smalls by Stitcher Mel and Tracy Stitches on Flosstube, and also for the Fat Quarter Shop Parade of Homes. They're doing stitch along where you can stitch any series that has houses in it. So thought these would be super cute. The pattern, originally the hyacinths in it are pink. And I had Googled, I looked on Google because I had never really seen pink hyacinths before. And apparently it's a thing, like they show whole fields of pink hyacinths, but the ones that grow in front of my house, and I feel like all the ones I've ever seen, are this bluish purple color. So I changed mine out to be the color, you know, that's in front of my own house. And then up here in the top corners, there were some hearts, but I wanted to do a little bit more of a nod to St. Patrick's Day for March. So I changed those out to some little shamrocky kind of motifs instead. So I love the sheep. I love the hyacinths. It's super cute. Absolutely love this one. It came out so good. So I'm gonna get that FFO'd and put it on, you know, this same pedestal frame. Hopefully before March actually arrives. We'll see if that happens. Because February didn't get FFO'd until very recently. And I'm really trying to stay ahead of with my stitching, like stay a season ahead, and that way I can have the pieces to display. But it takes me so long to FFO. Maybe I need to stitch 2 seasons ahead, so I'll have a few months to stitch and a few months to FFO. I don't know. I'm trying to get on track and get it done. At least I have this spring piece from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts done. Like that one, that's good. All right, so now I do believe, yes, I'm checking my notes. Every whip that I currently have is actually a new start because I have, like all the stuff I was working on in January, I wrapped up and it was done. So start off with Spring from Little House Needleworks. So this is the 4th one that I'm stitching in this series. This is on 32 count Zweigart Lugana in platinum, and I'm stitching it 1/1 with belle soie. So the pattern comes with the belle soie, and I know you can now get these patterns at Fat Quarter Shop. This is also part of the Fat Quarter Shop Parade of Homes. So this is my final one. I've done summer, autumn, winter. I just showed you FFO'd, and here's spring, almost done. I just have a little bit left on the bottom here, and then there's a couple of rows of border down there. It says spring and a couple more rows of the border. So that is coming right along. And that is, I think, Weathered Vine is the name of the silk floss for that one. All right, then I've got this ribbon that I found at Michael's. I meant to bring the spool of ribbon over here. Okay, here we go. So this is the ribbon. I'm trying to make it so it'll be right side up for you. So it is Celebrate It Aria, and on the top it says Vintage Blush Rose Antique, but it's just this ivory ribbon. Oh, my face. My paper in front of my face so it will focus for you. Okay, so it just has a lace sort of edging on both sides, and then the center, can you see how the center is? There we go. The center, you can stitch on that. So I counted it. So it's 40 count this direction and 44 count this direction. So it's not quite even weave, but it's close enough. It's absolutely close enough to stitch on it. I was a little worried that like maybe the fabric would be too rough for the floss. It would shred the floss or something like that, but it doesn't. It's fantastic. So it's about 66 stitches between here if you stitch over 1, or 33 stitches if you stitch over 2. So it's been fantastic. I decided to use that. It was just at Michael's in the regular ribbon aisle. So if you want to check it out, you can see if you can find some. Okay, white paper so it doesn't focus on me. Okay, so I just started at one end. I found a pattern from Antique Pattern Library, started stitching it up. It's about 27 stitches high, so it's coming out fantastic. I love it. I picked my favorite blue, 3750 in DMC, and this is gonna end up as a candle wrap. I'm gonna stitch that much length and wrap it around a candle. And this will be one that can sit out all year long. I would love to pick out some more borders of antique patterns and stitch them in different colorways, you know, for seasonal and for, I was thinking I could do, if I have time, an Easter one, and then start just, you know, doing holidays, you know, do an Easter, do a patriotic, do something for Halloween, you know, and have a candle up on my mantle that's just got a different candle wrap on it that I can change out for each holiday or each season. So I'm doing it over 2. Using 1 strand, and it is coming out really well. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but I wanted to point out that they don't always, so right in here, the threads, let's give it a second to focus. Can you see how the trim is not attached perfectly straight in there? So you just have to be careful when you are starting to stitch. I don't want to stitch my design too close to the edge, because the hole that I'm in, if the ribbon's if the center of the ribbon's a little bit crooked, it would run up into the trim. So I just allowed, you can kind of see here how this stitch, oh jeez you guys, I have to have the thing up where it focuses on my face and then it's hard for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, so right here, this stitch is very close to the ribbon trim, and it's further away over here. I don't know if that comes across on the camera or not. it's fine because as you get over here, the threads go back down again and kind of straighten out. So maybe it'll look, you know, slightly wonky. I think once it's wrapped around the candle, it's really not going to be noticeable. And a whole spool of this is 3 yards. So I can get a lot of candle wraps out of this thing, this one spool of ribbon. Way more affordable than banding. And for something that is not like an heirloom quality thing, that's just something I want to be able to have and to change out throughout the year, this ribbon is just fine. So let me show you, here's the back of it, if that helps anybody. Focusing. Okay, if that helps anybody out with where to find it or how to find it, I'll look online and see if I can find it at mygoals.com and put that in a link in the show notes if I can find it in the description box down below. But we'll see. So anyway, love that ribbon. Okay, that was, did I have one more? Oh yeah, my other, I was like, I have more things I'm stitching on, right, they're secret. So I'm going to the Love to Cross Stitch retreat in April. So I have the small that I'm working on, and then the stitched, like the secret stitched piece that will be part of the finishing class that Priscilla and Chelsea are leading is that just arrived on, what day? Monday or Tuesday? I just got that. So I'm gonna get started on stitching that too. So those are things that I'll show you after the retreat is over in April, but I am working on those. And then we can move on to Petit Point. Let me just scroll down my notes and make sure I didn't forget anything else. Oh yeah, we're on to Petit Point. Okay. So I have been working on, I'd already showed you this pillow over here that I had finished, and now I am working on this little ABC sampler from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. Sorry, I just realized the string is kind of across the part I stitched. Okay. There we go. So I have one more row of letters. I've been filling in the background as I go on each row so that I don't have a ton of background to do at the end. Sorry, for some reason my white is very blue today. Or at least it looks that way to me on the camera. So there we go. I've got a little less than half left to go, I would say. There's another row of letters, and then there's a big flower basket down at the bottom. So that is coming right along. All right, that's my Petit Point project I'm doing. And then last project, we haven't done any diamond painting. My kids' schedules have just been so swamped this February. They're both doing a ton of activities right now. We had pared it down, we had it was manageable, it was all good, and then they came home from school. They both have huge school projects that are due in February with speeches and having to memorize stuff and all of that and make videos for it and everything. And so we're just kind of swamped with that. And then my older daughter got picked to be an MC for the school like variety talent show. So she's super excited. It's something you can only do in 5th grade. And she was really excited to be selected, but it's a lot of extra practices and memorization stuff for the show. And so that's kind of added on to like what we had already, you know, laid out of like, here's our schedule for February, here's what we can handle. And then we had all these extra other things come on. So including I'm doing physical therapy, which I wasn't totally planning on doing. So I've got that on top of it. I just, yeah, I'm supposed to do my exercises twice a day, go physical therapy multiple times a week. So there's just a ton going on right now. And we haven't done any diamond painting at all. We did quilt a couple of squares. So this is the first one we did. It's, the fabric is called Social Butterfly. Benartex or something like that is the designer of the fabric or the manufacturer of the fabric. So we're doing quilt as you go. So you can see on the back, you just sew the jelly roll strips straight to the batting and quilt it. And then you sew all the squares together. So this one, I love the fabrics. They're coming out super good. This one ended up, you can see here, our center strip didn't get cut perfectly centered. I had gotten a new, I think it's a 10-inch ruler, square ruler, so you can just lay the square down and cut around all the sides. So in one diagonal, the line that goes straight down, it goes straight down the middle, but on the other diagonal, the line is slightly offset, which I didn't realize when I got the first square, so I was centering it with the wrong line and didn't realize what I was doing because I've never used one of those square rulers before. So anyway, I'm not sure if that's gonna end up mattering in the end. It's gonna mean our seams don't totally line up, but when we make a square, usually my 8-year-old sews a few seams and then she's like, okay, I'm done for right now. And then my 10-year-old wants a chance to sew, so she sews some of them. And then she gets tired of it, and so I end up finishing it off. So it's definitely a joint project between all three of us. So the lines are not straight in any way. And I know that's gonna end up affecting, you know, like the stripes from block 2, which is this one here, will not match up at the edges with the stripes from block 1. Does that make sense? And I'm sure our future blocks are not gonna match up either. So I'm thinking we're just gonna go super scrappy, put the lines going all different ways so that it doesn't really end up mattering in the end, because I think it's gonna be too thick of a headache to try and match them up, honestly. So it's gonna show you guys like the back of one of them. So this is one of those spots that's kind of pretty typical of our seam situation. So like one of my kids sewed the middle line, and then that bottom line is like one that I sewed, right? So, you know, up here, here's another one. It's, you know, so it's gonna be a wonderful memory. And from the front, like here's that section from the front. So from a distance, you really can't tell the issues with the seams. It's gonna be fun, and it's a memory, right? Like this is our first quilt together. So I don't know, I have to figure out how we're gonna deal with the wonkiness of it, because we're definitely not gonna have seams that totally line up in the end when you put these two together. If we were trying to make, yeah, typically you try to make a diamond shape with them, and that's just, they're gonna be offset. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not gonna line up. So I just gotta figure out how to deal with that, because in all the directions you're supposed to be making the seams line up. So I gotta figure out how much that's really gonna matter in the end, because I've never made a quilt before, so I'm not quite sure how that's gonna work out. But anyway, that's our quilt. I love the colors, it's coming out great. We only have 2 done. I think that this summer will probably be a big time where we can get it done. I think it's, you know, gonna be a square here and there, and then hopefully this summer we can really focus on it and get it done. All right, next thing, haul. So I had one more thing. I think I mentioned in my last video, I had gotten some gift card money for Christmas and my birthday. And so I bought a few things, and this is one of them that showed up a little later. So it is Making Miniature Chinese Rugs and Carpets by Carol Phillipson. And it has, this is one of my favorites right here on the cover. I saw somebody in a Petit group that I'm in online who made these, and I had added this book to my wish list, and then when I had some of the money, so that is a picture of the whole rug there. Actually, it might be better, get it up closer if I turn it that way for you. So that is gorgeous. I think one of these is going to be my new, like my next project when that sampler is done. There's another one. They're just gorgeous in here. And they're a manageable size. There's one more I want to show you at least. I've got to find it. They're a manageable size because they are, it says that they are about 4 by 6 inches in the book, but they're using a 22 count gauze, and I plan on stitching on 40 count gauze. So mine will probably come out to be between 2 and 3 inches by 3 to 4 inches, something like that. So they'll be perfect because, you know, the Victorian, my house is Victorian, and they had a lot of like small Victorian throw rugs. So here's this one. And this one to me seems a little bit simpler. Maybe I should start with that one instead of the other one, but I really love that other one, that first one I showed you. So I don't know, I gotta decide what I'm gonna do with this, but love it. Definitely making one of these. So that wraps up all the stitchy things I have to show you. In March coming up, I'm going to be working on finishing Spring from Little House Needleworks. That'll complete that series of 4 seasonal pieces. I'm going to start Summer from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, so that can go on my clock shutter thing. Have that ready. And then April from Fleur de Lin. I have that monthly series that needs to happen. I've got to get my retreat stitching finished because that's got a deadline. So really, in the next couple of weeks, I think that retreat stitching is going to be my biggest priority, so I can make sure I have it done. Because if you don't have your small done, you can't do an exchange. And if you don't have the finishing class piece finished, then you can't finish it at class. So I got to get that done. And I'm just afraid that like schedules are still going to be crazy and busy and it won't get finished. So I really want to get working on it as soon as I can. So hopefully this weekend I can get everything set up for it and get that done. And this morning I got an email from Tempting Tangles Designs, the company. It's the same woman that did the Quakers in France piece that I did the mystery sal for. And her new mystery sal that comes out next month is called Queen's Medal Mystery. So it's based on I think it's some sort of pin or medal from the Queen of the Netherlands, something like that. I don't have all the details correct on that, sorry, but the little piece that she showed, it's all like blues and golds, and in the description it says that it's charted in 6 DMC colors, but she gives you dinky dye conversions of blues that you might want to try and consider using. And I was like, oh, all blues and gold? Oh, I don't know if I can resist the temptation on that one. I was really saying no stitch alongs, no nothing right now, just focus on the stitching, the monthly and seasonal stitching that I really want to get done this year, the retreat stitching, stuff like that. But that one is really calling my name right now, and I might need to do it. It's long though. It is 25 sections, I think. It's a Quaker style again, so she said it's over 50 Quaker motifs. It's pretty big. I want to say it was like 230 by 230 or something like that. I need to like give myself a day or so away, sleep on it, go back and read through all the details, really think about how long it would take me to stitch that. I really want to do it though. Because I also really want to do, I have resisted so far the Three Musketeers stitch along from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. I saw the first part of the pattern that was released. I think the second part comes out this weekend. I really like the first part. It's really pretty. I'm still considering doing the mini, but I'm also really telling myself I've got to get the retreat stitching done first. I have to get that done first and then see where I am time-wise and what I have time to get done. Because I can't, like, if I add in a bunch of other stuff, then these other monthly projects and seasonal projects that I really want done aren't gonna get done this year. So I'm trying to keep myself reined in, but it's really getting hard. Things are getting really tempting. And I know for sure want to do the Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts next book, Stitching Book Club, that's coming up, because that's the Secret Garden, and I really want to do that one. So I think that's it for my plans. I think that's it for everything that's going on. If you want to keep up with things as I finish them, I try to post all my finishes on Instagram, so you can check me out over there at Stitching with the Waves. And thanks for watching today, you guys. I hope you're having a great stitching week, and I'll hopefully be back sooner rather than later with my next video. See you guys later. Bye.